Let's jump in and talk about open houses. I don't know if Amy Voigt is on this call or not. I'm going to pick on her a little bit. I'll start by saying I think Amy is one of the best people at holding open houses, so I feel like I can pick on her here. But she posted a reel on Instagram or Facebook over the weekend that was kind of a funny reel that said something like, you know, me sitting at an open house on a Saturday watching all my friends enjoy their summer weekends. And it got me thinking that, right, when it comes to open houses, the summer market is the busiest time to hold open houses. Um, and as you guys know, sometimes I kind of preach to the choir and myself on these calls on how are we actually turning open houses into a tool that generate leads and convert additional buyers instead of just wasting them, your 2 hours on a Saturday when you could be doing anything else. So I started doing some research, and right, the problem with open houses is a lot of agents just go put their signs up, unlock the door, sit at the kitchen table for 2 hours, let people come in, and they go, "Hey, let me know if you have any questions," or "All right, I'll see you later." Um, but they're not using it as a tool to actually build their pipeline. And so using an open house without a strategy in place is really just like babysitting a listing. Every single person that is taking time out of their day or their weekend to come view that open house, even if they say they're just looking, um, is an opportunity to have, future conversations or build future relationships. And so I wanted to give you guys kind of a framework for what open houses really should look like. And I thought these numbers were interesting. Um, since the NAR lawsuit, which changed agency, open house engagement has gone up 50%. It was 3% before the NAR ruling. In the last couple of years, that has jumped up to 53% of home buyers are now using open houses in their search. Right? We know that buyers have become a little more reluctant to sign a contract now that they're forced to work with an agent and kind of lock themselves into a one-on-one agency agreement. And so 53% of buyers are going, I'll just go through open houses and see what I can find. And once I find something, then I'll find an agent. Half of buyers have said they've attended open houses and attended on average 2 to 3 properties before they purchase one. And 37% of buyers said, I purchased a home that I originally saw at an open house. So that's over, right? Over 1/3 of buyers are going to an open house and then eventually purchasing that. So open houses as a tool really do work. And they work right, not only if you don't have a strategy, but they can work better for you if you do have a strategy. And so what does this look like, right? What is a good open house strategy? Again, there's numerous ways to do this, but I wanted to kind of give you a baseline framework and then you can build it and customize it to your own business or style. Um, but let's say you're doing an open house at noon on Sunday. Before you get there, here's a couple things you should do, right? You could go door knock the 10 closest neighbors and say, "Hey, I'm hosting an open house at 123 Main Street. Wanted to personally invite everybody in the neighborhood. Do you know anybody, do you know of anybody thinking about making a move or somebody that maybe is in your network that is interested in living in this neighborhood?" Right? It's an opportunity for a conversation. You should post it on social media. Bold Trail has a tool that will automatically post your open houses. I can show you how to set that up at a different time. But make sure you're promoting this on social. I had an open house a couple weeks ago at one of my new listings, and the first family that walked through the door said, "Hey, we weren't really thinking about looking at houses today, or we're not, we're just kind of in the beginning part of our search, but I was laying on the couch drinking coffee this morning and I saw your social media that you were having an open house here. So I gathered the kids up and here we are." And so social promotion does work. And then also, right, text your active buyer leads. "Hey, just quick heads up, I'm hosting an open house at 123 Main Street. I think it might be worth a look for you. Would love to see if you have time to stop by." This takes 60 seconds, and it's another reminder to your leads that you are active in the market, you are working out there, right? And that you're working on their behalf. So if you take, 1 to 2 hours to kind of do this pre-open house prep, you're going to generate opportunities for so many more conversations. this is, I think, really where you can take your open house strategy to the next level. So let's say you forget to do all the prep and you get to the open house Sunday at noon and people start showing up, right? How many of you, and I'm guilty of this, open the door and go, hey, welcome in. Here's a sheet. Let me know if you have any questions, right? It puts you in passive mode before the conversation even starts with them. And it signals that your role is really just hosting. You're just the person there to babysit the house while other people walk through it. And so you miss the opportunity to actually connect with the people that are showing up to your open houses and showing and proving to them that you're an expert and you understand what you're doing. What's maybe more impactful is if you say something like, hey, welcome, I'm so glad you're here. Have you been out looking for a while, or is this one of your first houses you've looked at? Instant question, instant response. In the first 30 seconds that they are at your open house, you now know where they are in their process. They might say something like, oh, we've been looking for 6 months, haven't really found anything we've liked. That tells you so much information there. Or, nope, we're just starting. This is actually the first house we've looked at. Again, that tells you a totally different story. And it gets them talking. You start that engagement from the moment that they walk in the door, and it positions you as somebody as a resource, right? You ask them a question, it elicits a response. That gives you an opportunity to provide them value based on whatever their answer was. And again, make sure these are open-ended questions. And then mid-tour, right, as you're kind of interacting with the buyers that are walking through your open house, make it natural and conversational. Hey, are you working with an agent right now, or are you still trying to figure that part out? If yes, yep. Are they helping you specifically in this price range? Again, you're trying to gauge where they are and what they're actually looking for. If they say, no, I haven't found an agent yet, you can say, great. Hey, a lot of people come to open houses before they've connected with anybody, and I could be a really helpful resource while you're in that stage. Every single question you ask somebody at your open house should give you one more puzzle piece to trying to figure out where they are in the process. The second question, right? Are you currently renting or do you own a home right now? This single question can turn what is a buyer consultation into also a listing opportunity because we know buyers are often sellers. And again, you're one more puzzle piece trying to figure out where these people are in their process and what their real estate needs actually look like. And then before they leave, right? I know we all struggle with getting people to try to sign in on a sign-in sheet. Um, and I think we're all maybe a little fatigued with spam calls and spam emails and people reaching out to us. And so if you say, hey, can you just put your phone and email down here? This is a sign-in sheet. People immediately go, no, 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 I'm not going to do that. But if you ask them for their email and give them a reason to give you that information, your conversion rate is going to skyrocket. So if you lead with value and something that they actually want and is helpful to them in wherever they are in their real estate journey, they're going to be way more likely to give you that. So you can say something like, hey, before you take off today, I send out a list every week of homes that match what you've described as the market evolves. If that's something of interest to you, what's your email? I'd love to send it to you. These people are taking time out of their weekend to walk through a house. There's got to be some level of interest there. And so if you can provide them value and say, hey, I'm happy to send this to you as a resource, give me your best email address. And then say, right, hey, in case something pops up before I can get that weekly list sent, is it okay if I send it to you via text message? It works because you've already established the value here, and then it makes them feel special, right? Hey, I know I'm going to get this weekly list of properties, but if something urgent and important pops up, heck yeah, I want to know about that. Here's my cell number. And so specific value leads to a specific yes every single time.
Hey,
It's not,
Reagan,
yep,
just to interject here, one thing that we've been saying is, do you want to get on, do you want to know about properties before they hit the market? Do you want to get
yep,
on our list for, and that's delayed, so you can set up a search just for delayed and put them on that so that they get that right away. And it seems to capture more people because they're getting it before everyone else.
yep. Yeah, it's driving that exclusivity. And there's so much conversation in the media right now about coming soon listings. And so giving somebody, access to that is a really good conversion. And I think too, right, again, as you're interacting and engaging with people at your open houses, you understand where they are in the process, what their needs might be, what the next step for them should be. And so don't be afraid to ask for an appointment as they're leaving. Right? You could say something like, "Hey, I don't want to keep you too long today, but I do want to stay in touch. Would it make sense for us to sit down and grab coffee for 20 minutes this week? I just want to make sure that you're set up to move fast when the right property comes up." Right? In our market, homes are usually going under contract in about 9 days, so you don't have a ton of runway. You can drop the data point in there to build your credibility. And a quick 20 minutes or coffee is a kind of a low stakes pitch to get that conversation into a more formal setting. Um, and I think too, right, this is what other people aren't doing. And so if you know that this is a buyer who's early on in their search, they've told you they're not working with an agent, taking them out for coffee in a casual setting can help really solidify that relationship. And somebody that just walked into your open house on Sunday, you could have on under contract by the next Sunday if you work it strategically enough. But most
And
of the time, right, agents just let people walk out the door and they never hear from them again.
Reagan, this is
Yep.
Tracy. So I'm sure you guys have all been in this position too, but I just wanted to add, just to be obviously very mindful of where you're standing, because there's been times where, I mean, I could get a vibe that somebody's interested in this open house. So I don't want to be talking about other homes. Like there's been
Mhm.
times where I have another listing, like, oh my God, my other listing would blow this one out of the water. And I think they'd like that one better, but I'm not going to say that because I'm trying to sell this person's house that I'm representing. So anytime there's any like gray area where I think they might be interested, I try not to push anything else or, make it feel like I'm gonna like get them on any type of a, drip campaign for others because I want them to buy the house that I'm representing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I just don't know how to. Again, I proceed with caution because there's times that there's another house that I know about that would be a better fit, but it's not my place to talk about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I've always heard people say, right, the goal of an open house isn't necessarily to sell that house. It's to generate buyer leads, whether it is for that house or for another house. I know we have a duty to our seller too, but you could also have an opportunity to, right, serve a buyer. But I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, I just choose not to because, in my opinion, I'm standing there for the seller I'm representing. Those hours are dedicated to them. But
Hmm.
everything else you're saying, yes, I totally agree with. If it wasn't the one, those are all really great suggestions. I just sometimes find myself in a weird spot.
Yeah. Um, this, right, inevitably always happens. The neighbors who just popped in to see, um, this could be one of your best listing leads. And I think oftentimes we're quick to dismiss the neighbor as just kind of a nosy neighbor who's trying to look at the house. Um, but I think it's important to engage with the neighbors as well because you can say something like, "Hey, my neighbors are the favorite people to talk to at open houses because you know this street or this neighborhood better than anybody. Have you thought about what your place might be worth in this market?" Right? A nosy neighbor coming over might just be interested in what their neighbor's house looks like, but I would bet more times than not, in the back of their mind, they're gauging the value of, okay, this house next door is worth 450. I need to go put my own eyes on it to see it. They're doing the calculations in their head, comparing it to their own home to try to figure out what their house is worth. And so, right, engaging them as kind of a neighborhood expert and opening the dialogue by saying, like, "Hey, have you ever thought about what your house is worth?" can start that conversation. And go into your open houses and with the data and the understanding of what the market looks like in that area, because in these conversations with neighbors, you can bring that up, right? Prices in your neighborhood are up 6% year over year. And use the neighborhood conversations to set yourself future listing appointments, right? You're putting yourself in a house in that neighborhood as the expert agent. Give them a reason to trust you. And maybe they really don't want to sell their house. But the more you can get in conversation with them and earn their trust, they might say, Yeah, but Steve and Mary down the road, I know all of their kids are out of the house now and they've been thinking about, maybe selling. And so start those listing conversations with the nosy neighbor that comes in. And then, right, okay, you made it through your open house, you had great conversations, got some contact information, set some appointments. Um, but like anything, right, the fortune is in the follow-up. And so as you leave your open house and are building your pipeline of buyers and neighbors or other potential sellers that you met during the 2 hours that you were there, make sure that you have a built out follow-up campaign for people that come through your open house. So that same evening, right, reach out to the people. Hey, it was great meeting you today. Wanted to follow up, see if you had any other questions about the home or the neighborhood, right? Try to keep that conversation going even after the open house ends. The next day, deliver some value. Hey, that list we talked about, here it is. These are homes in your price range that either just listed or coming soon. Let me know if anything catches your eye. Day three, create some urgency. Hey, a quick heads up, homes in Baraboo are selling really fast. The median days on market is about 9. So if you're serious about this neighborhood or this area, really want to make sure that you're positioned to succeed and not missing out on anything. Day five, check in with them. Hey, you might be juggling a lot if you're in the throes of searching for a home. I know how that process goes. So has anything shifted on your end? Or are you still just kind of casually looking, keeping your eyes open, or whatever? Day seven, try to close them. Hey, last check-in, don't want to be a pest, don't want to be annoying, don't want to be spammy. Just want to make sure that you have somebody in your corner when the right home shows up. If you're still looking or still interested in finding a house to buy, love to sit down with you for coffee for a quick 20 minutes to build a game plan. So continually follow up with these people. Again, this is somewhat low-hanging fruit when it comes to leads because these are people that have already indicated a behavior that says there is some level of interest. Now it's up to you to convert and capitalize on that. And so if you're having an open house this weekend, I want you to choose one thing to do differently. And this weekend being a holiday weekend maybe is not the best example, but the next weekend that you're going to host an open house, I want you to try to, right, take a look at what your current open house strategy is. If you don't have one, right, build one at even just a basic frame level, and commit to doing that on your next open house, whether that's door knocking the neighborhood before it, um, asking every visitor, hey, do you own or rent? Right? If you can just add one more question to your repertoire when you're conversing with people at your open house, that's one more than you had before this training. And then, right, send the day one text the night of your open house. Before you go to bed or before you wrap up for the day, the people that you got information from, make sure you're reaching out to them. It's these small shifts, right? And then consistently executing on them is what's going to continue to set you guys apart from the agents that are just throwing a couple signs out, sitting in a house for 2 hours and calling it good. And so if you're going to not waste, if you're going to invest 2 hours of your weekend on a, beautiful summer Saturday or Sunday, I really want you guys to make them beneficial for yourself and your business by building a strategy that not only helps your seller get their property sold, but consistently generates leads in your pipeline that you can go out and convert, long after the open house is wrapped up. Any other questions, thoughts, contributions?
Nope, but that's all really good stuff to think about. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to just kind of go back to this stat slide because it really stuck with me too, right? 1 out of every 2 buyers that is coming through your open house potentially doesn't have an agent and is trying to do the research on their own. They're saying, I'm just going to go out and try to find my own property and then I'll find an agent. There's a huge opportunity for you guys to convert buyer leads at open houses. And if you don't have any current listings of your own, reach out to any of the other Remax agents. I know there's a lot of agents out there that have properties that could be held open. And so, work together. And if you want to start working a different community or neighborhood, find one of your colleagues that has a listing there and see if you can host an open house for them. And that's what I got for you guys today. Good conversation. Good,
Yeah. Also, Reagan, everybody make sure you follow that our Remax Preferred Facebook page because there's always opportunities on there to work open houses when agents need it.
yep.
Question, quick.
Yep.
Not regarding open houses, but talking about these reassessments. Does the seller have to amend the condition report when they get a notice of reassessment? Because that's a question on there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, the answer is yes.
I thought that they did, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
on
supposed
the
to
on the
say
two
yes.
that I had, we disclosed that, and so the buyers knew going in that they did get reassessed, but I was just thinking they they probably need to amend the condition report to change the answer to that question. Well, that's a
Unless,
good tip for
Yes.
everyone.
but if you use the new assessed amount on the MLS sheet, then maybe you don't have to. I'm not
No,
sure.
no, I think you still have to say that you received if so here's my question. You list it, they answer no. They have not received notice of increased tax assessment or reassessment, but they get one. They need to go back and amend the condition report. So like all these properties in the city of Baraboo, they
Yeah,
all should be saying yes on the condition report or have an amendment to the condition report saying that they did receive notice, correct?
I would agree with that.
Okay, I
Did
was just,
ask my Lodi listings.
you did?
I did have them amend, yes, last year
Yep.
when it happened. Yep.
Okay, that's just what I was thinking. All right, thank you.
Good point, Beth. Alrighty, everybody, have a great Tuesday. Have a good week. Happy 4th of July. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and we'll chat with you guys soon. Oh, hey, quick heads up. Our offices are going to be closed on Friday the 3rd. It's the observed holiday for the 4th. So reach out if you need anything, but there will not be staff in office.
Hi, everybody.
Thank
All
you.
right, take care.